You know that overwhelming urge to just chuck your smartphone into the nearest ocean, pack a bag, and like move to a completely off-grid cabin?
Oh, yeah, the classic modern burnout fantasy. Right, just shutting out the relentless noise.
Right, exactly. And we usually think of that as a strictly modern symptom. But for you listening today, we're doing a deep dive into an ancient text where the author is begging for that exact same escape. We're looking at Psalm 55 from the English Standard Version.
Yeah, and it's a fascinating one. It's attributed to David, and it's labeled a maskil.
Wait, what does that mean?
So that indicates it was meant to be played with the stringed instruments. You can kind of think of it as an ancient musical composition articulating, well, paralyzing anxiety.
Wow. Because
Yeah.
he literally cries out for wings like a dove so he can fly away and lodge in the wilderness to escape the tempest.
Yeah.
But, I mean, this guy is a hardened leader.
Right.
So he's looking at violence and fraud in the city marketplace, and it's completely breaking him. Why is this specific thing making him want to run away to the woods?
Well, the macro level chaos, the violence in the marketplace, that isn't the actual source of the trauma. It's really just the backdrop.
Okay, so if it's not a known adversary out there, who is causing this?
The psychological breaking point here is a deeply personal betrayal. The text points out that if an enemy were taunting him, he could bear it. I mean, you expect an enemy to attack, so
Yeah, your brain can process that threat logically. Makes sense.
exactly. But this was a familiar friend, a companion.
Oh man, a friend.
Yeah, someone he used to take sweet counsel with, walking right alongside him in God's house.
Okay, yeah. That fundamentally changes the threat level.
Absolutely. Psychologically, this creates profound cognitive dissonance. When an enemy attacks, your worldview stays intact. But when your closest ally turns out to be a fraud, your entire ability to judge reality collapses.
I mean, how does the text even describe that
Yeah,
feeling?
this incredible visceral imagery. It says the betrayer's speech was smooth as butter and softer than oil, but they were hiding war in their heart and drawn swords.
So you realize the person smiling next to you is actually holding a hidden blade.
Right.
How on earth do you process that without just, I don't know, snapping and seeking revenge?
Well, that is the structural pivot of this text. The author doesn't plot revenge.
He doesn't.
No, instead, he just vocalizes the pain. He cries out evening, morning, and noon. And that leads to the text's ultimate directive in verse 22.
Which is,
Cast your burden on the Lord. The promise here is that God will sustain the righteous and eventually cast the treacherous man into the pit of destruction.
I have to be honest though, cast your burden sounds really nice on paper,
Sure.
but when you're in the middle of a literal panic attack because your life is falling apart, how practical is that advice?
It's actually a very practical mechanism for survival. Think of it less as a platitude and more as a desperate transfer of psychological mass.
The transfer of mass.
Yeah. When a friend betrays you, the mental weight is just too heavy for one person to carry. If you try to hold on to it, it crushes you.
Oh, I see. It's like load-bearing architecture.
Yeah.
Like, if a main wooden support beam suddenly snaps and gives way, the entire house is going to collapse unless you immediately transfer that structural stress onto a solid steel column.
Precisely. The text states that by transferring that massive burden onto an unshakable foundation, you won't be moved.
Because you aren't the one holding up the wreckage anymore.
Right. You survive the collapse of the relationship.
So for you listening, this really proves that the raw desire to flee a toxic, backstabbing environment isn't just a symptom of modern burnout. It's an incredibly timeless human experience.
Absolutely. The trauma of betrayal hasn't changed in thousands of years.
But it does leave you with something pretty heavy to think about.
What's that?
Well, we usually read a text like this and immediately cast ourselves as the victim, running from the people with the hidden blades.
Right, of course we do.
But in our own lives, with our polite excuses and highly curated interactions, have we ever accidentally been the familiar friend wielding the sword in someone else's story?
Oh, wow. Now that is a deeply uncomfortable question to sit with.
Something to ponder the next time you feel the urge to pack up and move to that off-grid cabin.